Pregnancy test kit works by detecting a hormone that is produced in pregnancy called beta HCG. So that's human chorionic gonadotropin hormone. What's up, beautiful people? Welcome to another exciting episode of TTC Diaries with Dr. O. You already know. Yeah, I'm always excited to have you guys here with me. Thank you for always joining me on the show. This show will be nothing without you guys. So, TTC moms, if you know what this is, can you raise your hands in the comment section? I know that almost all TTC moms use this a lot. Like, you know what this is, and it's a very important tool if you're trying to conceive, right? I mean, testing to see if all your efforts so far have finally resulted into something. I know it can be. Sometimes this instrument can be a source of anxiety to some because countless times they've received, results that they don't want. But just remember that one day you're going to receive 2 lines, a positive pregnancy test on this thing, right? It's going to happen one day. Just focus, just keep your mind on the prize, keep doing you, and you're going to see the positive test very soon. I know that a lot of us have been using this so many times and we're so familiar with it, but no matter how many times you use it, there are some mistakes that you might be making that could lead to false negative, or worse still, false positive results. I don't even know which one is worse, getting a false negative or getting a false positive, right? False positive will probably be more devastating. So we really don't want that to happen. So I'm going to be talking about mistakes women make when using a pregnancy testing kit. Now, the number one mistake that you should never make is forgetting to check the expiry date before buying or before using a pregnancy test kit. So always make sure you check the expiry date. It's always available somewhere on the pack, either at the bottom or somewhere, but it will always be on the packaging. If you don't check the expiry date and you use an expired pregnancy test kit, you might not get the right results. You might get inaccurate results, and trust me, that's the last thing you want right now. So make sure you always remember to check the expiry date. Next mistake people make: they don't remember to read the instructions. So because you use so many pregnancy test kits, you're like, I already know how it works. Why should I read the instruction? Forgetting that every pregnancy test kit is different. They might have the same mechanism of action, but they have their own specific instructions for that kit, right? Their manufacturers have their different instructions of how to use it. So some might tell you, oh, dip it into the urine. Some will say, no, use a pipette to put it in the circular area. Some will say use 2 drops. Some will say use 3, So you really have to read the instructions. Some will say, after you dip it inside urine, you need to wait for this amount of time, right? So you can't use the amount of time you're supposed to wait for another pregnancy test kit to wait for the one you're using right now. You have to be sure that you read the instructions to make sure that you're using the pregnancy test kit the recommended way, the way the manufacturer recommended it. Very important. Now, another mistake women make is when they've done the test, they've dipped it inside the urine. Instructions said wait for 5 minutes. You just see test 2 minutes and you're like, yes, I've seen my test result and everything. No, just relax, calm down, wait for that 5 minutes, because you never know what can happen in between the 5 minutes, right? So don't read the test like 1 minute before time. I'm like, I'm not pregnant again. No, wait for the 5 minutes. Only after 5 minutes, that's the recommended 5 minutes. I'm just using 5 minutes as an example. Some tests will say 3 minutes, some will say, whatever the time. But I'm using 5 minutes as the hypothetical example here. So you just wait for that 5 minutes and make sure that the test has actually finished running before you conclude. You never know, you might still be seeing only 1 line because the test is not done. Maybe when you have turned your back and you threw the testing kit in the bin, it turned to 2 lines. In the 5 minutes it was supposed to turn, and then you already think that you're not pregnant, and then you go about and you're eating any kind of food, taking any kind of drugs and stuff like that. You can hurt your baby if you don't have the right pregnancy test. Imagine you testing negative when you're actually positive. You will not be cautious, you won't do the right thing and stuff like that. So let's try to wait for the stipulated time before reading the pregnancy test. I know we're all anxious, but let's just wait, okay? Another mistake people make is too late. So waiting till it's too late to read the pregnancy test. So for example, let's say you did it now and it says read it within 1 hour. After 1 hour, results are invalid. Then you are waiting and maybe you didn't read it or you read that you want to show your partner later, and later you know say it's too science, like maybe I'm pregnant and stuff like that. So after 1 hour, anything you see there, take it with a pinch of salt, right? That is 1 hour, depending on the testing kit. It says whatever the instruction on your testing kit, I'm using 1 hour as an example, right? Your testing kit might say otherwise. So just make sure you read the instruction and know that after this stipulated time, any result I see there is not valid, right? So keep to what the test instructions say. Don't read it too early and don't read it too late. Very important. Another mistake pregnant women make is not using enough urine to do the test. It's like you're missing the urine, or you're scared to use your urine sample, right? Especially for the ones where you're going to dip the strip into the urine. You need adequate urine sample for the urine to be absorbed all the way to the top of the strip. So make sure that you are using the recommended amount of urine on the pregnancy test kit instructions, or at least use adequate amount of urine, right? And that does not mean that you should now dip it past the level that the instruction says, okay, because I said use plenty urine, you now dip it all the way. No, nothing like that. But make sure you're using adequate urine, because it could lead to inaccurate test results. Very important. And this final one, which a lot of women are guilty of actually, is testing too early in their cycle. The best time to do a pregnancy test result is after you've missed your period. That's when most pregnancy test kits will detect pregnancy. A few pregnancy test kits will say, okay, they can detect pregnancy before you miss your period, but you never know, right? Because if you don't have, so basically, like I said in my previous video, pregnancy test kits works by detecting a hormone that is produced in pregnancy called beta HCG. So that's human chorionic gonadotropin hormone. Now, if the concentration of this hormone in your urine is not high enough, the pregnancy test kit will not detect it. So imagine if you test too early in your cycle. Of course, the concentration of the beta HCG will be low. So most pregnancy test kits cannot pick it. A few will say, oh, they are really sensitive and they can pick it, right? But that's just a few. And even with those, you still get false negatives. And that's something you don't want at this time. So please, even if you get a false negative, if you use those early pregnancy test kits that say they can detect it before you miss your period, always repeat your pregnancy test after a missed period. Very, very important. That's all the information I actually have for you on TTC Diaries today. Thanks for joining me. But please, even though you're trying to conceive, just make sure you relax. Just make sure you stay calm. Make sure you try to have fun, do other things, prepare for baby's arrival, right? Because the truth is, you need to have fun now, because taking care of a baby can be time consuming, right? Babysitting, motherhood can take all of your time. So live your best life right now while waiting for the baby to come. I know it's easier said than done, but just make sure that you're not sitting down and watching your life pass you by when there are so many things that you could have been doing. Trust me, when the baby comes, you regret not spending this time to do all the things you won't be able to do when the baby is here. So please, just keep your eyes on the prize. Remember that you're not alone on this journey to motherhood, and your baby will be here sooner than you think. See you next week.